Welcome back to Money Meets Strategy. Today, we're going to talk about the word scale. I gave a presentation on this past week and got excited about the idea of what does scale mean? How do you scale your company? A lot of people for many years now have thrown around this word, and I don't know how y'all feel, but it can always be a little bit of a black box of what do they actually mean when they're saying scale? Are we just growing the revenue to a certain point and selling the company in that scale? Are we growing the headcounts of the employees? What do people mean when we say scale? And so let's dig into it. I'm going to put my own definition on it to kind of guide our conversation here. So when I say scale, what I mean and what we're talking with our clients about is how to increase the economic value of your business and or the distributions to the owners. What I find that a lot of business owners care about is, am I growing the value of the asset that I'm building? Is it growing? And am I able to take more money home at the end of the day as a result of all the effort that I'm putting in? So that I can use that money for whatever goals that I have personally. And that's what I find that most business owners that I'm talking to are really after one of those two things: growing the value of their asset, bringing more money home to the family. And so when I say scale, what I'm going to refer to as scale is that increasing the economic value of your business and increasing the distributions to the owners. And so how do you do that? Right? Like we mentioned a second ago, many business owners think that the word scale means grow my revenue or grow my profit or maybe buy more assets, buy more real estate, whatever the case may be, right? The real case may be all of those might just be a maybe. Is focusing on revenue where you should be to growing the economic value. Here's one, so I guess the question then comes to how do you grow the economic value of your business? Here's one definition that I found through some searching. Uh, so, economic value is the future cash flow multiplied by the confidence that those cash flows will be there tomorrow. So, what is the future cash flow of your business? Is that potential increasing as you're making progress on the operations, as you're bringing in more revenue? Is the potential future cash flow increasing? And for somebody on the outside looking in, are they feeling more and more confident that that cash flow is still going to be there tomorrow to then pay a price for your business, right? And so those are the two big factors when we're thinking economic value um, that that impact it. Those are also big factors when we're thinking of the owner taking home more distributions that impact it. What do the future cash flows look like, and how confident am I that it's going to be there tomorrow? And so, what often then comes into play is how do we be strategic about our scale? How do we know how to increase that economic value, increase the distributions, and do this? Well, the reality is we don't always know. We don't have a crystal ball into what's going to happen, right? We don't know how wars are going to affect the value of somebody's company, how tariffs are going to affect the value of somebody's company, how AI, there's all these big global type things that are happening in our world that are affecting the value of companies and the day to day of companies. And we don't really know how it's going to impact, tomorrow's value or the future cash flows of the business, right? And so that's where this idea of scale becomes a little bit more nuanced than just we bring in more revenue, make profit, do that over the course of decades, and you've scaled your company. Maybe there's a reality that there's some risk in your industry, and that needs to happen within a certain time frame for you to feel confident that you can, grow the asset value, right? So there's all these kind of risk outside, and so all of this comes down to how do we then scale? How do we then do this? And so, I'll talk about it from the CFO perspective, and I'll try to make it just condensed and simple, something tangible for you to, walk away with. ultimately what it's going to come down to, right, is we all kind of know the factors that influence the value of our business. We want a business that's not uh, solely dependent on one key person within the organization, whether that's the owner or something, right? We want a team of people with good processes in place and a valuable product where more and more revenue potential exists. We know that that's how you grow the economic value of a business, and we know that we probably need to put some sort of time frame on it so that we can measure ourselves against it. So this is where, having maybe your next 5 years mapped out at a high level, based off what you think you can do, is super important, because what you can look at then is, hey, over the course of year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, here's the future cash flows that I'm going to bring in. Here's maybe what I'm going to bring into the bottom line. Here's what the potential multiple that might be out on the market today. Maybe a series of potential multiples, high and low, and something that's common, so that I can see what's the value of this asset, and it's are the things that I'm tweaking today, whether it's going after more revenue, whether it's improving operations and hopefully impacting my gross margin, are those leading to a more valuable asset? Whether it's your plan to sell the company or not, it's very healthy to think about your company that way. And so, where could you start if this is something that's new, a new way of thinking for you today? So, first thing I would do, and I say this every time, you got to know where your numbers are today. Get a good accountant where you're reviewing financials every single month. You're understanding what your margin is on the revenue that you're bringing in and what you're bringing into your bottom line. Step one. Step two, start looking into the future. As I project this out over the course of this year, over the course of the next few years, what does it look like? What is the value of my asset that I'm growing? Step three, what levers can I pull today to increase that asset value? And what's like the lowest hanging fruit? I've seen it to where just improving your DSO, day sales outstanding, which is just how fast you collect on invoices. Improving that increases the net future cash flows of your company and much lowers the risk that, maybe that service or something like that is going to impact whether that future cash flow is going to be there or not. So what's the lowest hanging fruit that you can improve, and then just start knocking them out step by step. So quick review. What does it mean to scale? I would say what it means to scale is to increase the economic value of your business and to take more money home. Step number two, what does it mean to increase that economic value? You want future cash flows and you want to be confident that they're going to be there. How do you do that in an ever-changing world? Know your numbers today, in looking into the future, start grabbing the lowest hanging fruit to improve that value as you're reviewing your numbers. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.